What are things that are really important to you that you are willing to be consistent about and maybe even follow through? It's not always necessary to follow through. What are the family issues in your home? Things that really matter. Yes?
Someone last week said disrespect, and I really think that's what I want to talk about, like how you treat your family, what comes out of your mouth, your...
Okay, so it's so great that you brought that up and that I finally let you say something. So disrespect is an interesting thing. How do kids learn respect? What's the answer?
Being respected.
What was that, Pat?
Being respected.
Being respected. Someone else said something?
Example.
Example. And what specifically is the example of respect? Well, it's how we talk to kids. It's how we listen to kids. It's how we respect their room and their choices and their bodies when they're young without picking at them. Respect is something that is shown to children. Kids do not act respectful, though, because they're children. They don't have the maturity, and I'm talking teenagers too, they do not have the maturity to speak to you in a way that's respectful. Remember in week 2, Tell Me It's a Stage, I explained that kids have problems with their feelings. The 4-year-old says, I hate you, butthead, poo-poo, bum-bum underwear. Yeah, they can even tell you to F off. Jared actually told me to F off when he was 4. I'm not sure where he heard that. I came up with a consequence which was not related at all. I removed his TV time for the day. I was, flabbergasted. But I actually punished myself because I liked him watching his show when I was trying to make dinner. And it had nothing to do with swearing, but it just felt like the right thing to do because I couldn't think of a related consequence. Yeah. So we really have to be careful when we identify respect because the bar might be too high. I wrote an article yesterday for the Cut It Out for Island Parent, and it was lower the bar. And it's not something that parents like to hear. They don't like that. But the problem is if we hold the bar too high, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment because we are raising normal children, not pseudo-mature, And so if the bar is too high, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. And then when we're disappointed, we are approaching our kids with a negative affect. We've got that disappointment as we come at them, and they come back at us with the same negative affect. If we can be realistic with our expectations, and what are the expectations that we have? That kids should eat a meal, thank us for it, express appreciation for how amazing it was and all the time you took to cook it. That they should be running around picking up after themselves, especially after school when they're so exhausted, but they just so want to please you and empty their knapsacks and their lunch kit. And oh yes, they want to take that dog for a walk. That they should treat each other well, that siblings should be loving to each other. They should be best friends. What other expectations? Oh, that our kids should think about our needs and consider our needs. That's so funny.
Buy them a meal, they don't say, ew, yuck.
Yeah, just show appreciation to us. And so if you've got any of these requirements for the rules that say this is how a happy family looks, I think you're experiencing disappointment on a regular basis. And I also think you experience disappointment if you have a big set of rules for yourself. I should never get angry. I should really put my needs aside and give my child every opportunity under the sun. Bend over backwards, I should entertain my child. After all, he needs a friend right now. And so we also, whatever rules you might have for yourself, and then we're disappointed in ourselves, not just our kids. So lowering the bar. How do normal children behave? They are loud, they are messy, they are egocentric, they're not running around thinking about you because they're not supposed to, and they couldn't develop psychologically if they did. And there is sometimes when they hit the teen years where you're not sure if you really even like them. You care for them deeply, but you're not sure about the liking them. Yeah. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Yeah. So how do we apply boundaries? Because if you think about it, limits are essentially boundaries. That's what limit setting is. So how do you apply boundaries in the rest of your life? Because here's the thing. Discipline means to give life to learning. And limits are about boundaries. And if we wouldn't treat an adult a certain way, why would we treat a kid a certain way and think that it's okay? I mean, of course we have to set limits for kids because they're kids, but shouldn't they always have their dignity intact? Is that not just a value as a parent, that they get to have that sense of dignity, and that however we approach them, we're mindful, of just that one value? And so the question is, how do you set limits with other people in your life? So if my husband goes golfing and comes home 3 hours late, am I going to look at him and remove his golf clubs? I'm going to be, okay, buddy, give me those golf clubs. They're going to be locked in the garage for a month. And you're going to be on dishes every night. And there'll be no...